Alright, so I went ahead and tried to print this 3" pound ratchet, and that was when my x-axis was still off, and when I tried to turn this, I used a pair of pliers to grab it and tried to turn it, and it literally broke. And I'm not sure, I'm going to try and bring this up as close as I can. You see the x-axis kind of shifted at the end there, and it shifted a little bit in the beginning, if you can see that. And I think that's why the ratchet part of the center actually ended up getting melted into itself, so there's no way it was ever going to move with that little bit of shift like that. So, and I did it with a 20% infill, so it didn't take much but to crack it. Well, after I got it fixed, I printed it again, and this time it does the job. Pretty cool stuff. That was the NASA 3" per pound ratchet they printed. It's just for tightening. You can't like flip it to loosen. You can buy one. I mean, you can download one that has the tighten and loosen if you want. So pretty cool. That worked well. And then I printed this little catapult launcher with PLA, and it works pretty good. But as it was coming up, I had a clog somewhere right in this area, and then it started going and started moving this around, which got that really bad. But I got it back online. And after I pinched that little piece of clog that came out right there off, what I could, right here in the corner is actually missing. I pinched that off, and then it started going back to online, and it was much straighter. It was like that when it was printing. It's just that the torsion on this with PLA, it isn't springing back as much as it should. So very cool. It's got a little latch that's kind of detached over here, separate, and a catapult arm that's detached in here, it's separate. And you just basically pull it down and put your piece of paper in there, and fling, it shoots it. It does a neat job. It's not perfect. It's PLA, so it does what it can. And I printed, you can't see it, I'll shift the camera up just a little bit. I printed the arms on here as well for the spool. So that's all I've got. So of prints I've gotten to work, I got this ratchet to work. I guess we couldn't really say I got this to work because it did have a bad spot, but I kind of got it to work. And I think that's all I've really gotten to work 100%. The spool arms didn't work 100%. They were still having an X issue when they got into the part that goes in the spool. So I think that's it for now. I will go through at the end and do a complete build video and talk about some of the things that I would maybe do different or change, especially being here in the U.S. because I have a lot of issues. Before I move on, I want to show one more thing that I did change. It was really important. Well, maybe not, but I think it was really important. See if I can zoom in here on this. So I need to raise it up above the thing. I'm not going to move anything while it's printing. So I added in that part, if you can see it. This part right here, and that's an external MOSFET for the print bed. If you run a separate power supply through it, so I have power supply A, B, or BA, however you want to call it. So you run a separate power supply through that secondary MOSFET, and then you let the wires coming off of your 1.4 ramp go into this side wires over here, telling it to turn on, and then you run your power into the input on that board, that secondary board, and the output goes now to the those wires that come out are the wires that are going to the printed board back there in the back, the heavy wires coming off of here that are going to the hot bed, and that allows for the whole thing to heat up and not overheat the ramp 1.4. It's on a separate board. It seems to be doing better. I don't know if that's... I wasn't sure what was causing all my x-axis and shutting down, and my y-axis was skipping a lot. One of my prints, I had it went all wrong on the y-axis. In fact, it was the first print of the spool folder. The x-axis was doing great, but the y-axis just stopped. and didn't do anything. Well, my I can't really point to it, but my motor has the set screw in it, and the set screw had fallen out. I kept messing with the print drivers, thinking it was print drivers the whole time. No, it was the set screw on the Y-axis had fallen out. I found it, and that's the only reason I knew is because I found it. So it was weird. It grabbed sometimes and not sometimes for a bit there, and then it finally stopped. Well, I think that the motor and the the shaft and the pulley were so tight that it was still grabbing a little bit, just not enough when it made a big move. So other than that, I've had no issues with these threaded rods here. They seem to be doing great. I wouldn't say there's any warp at all. The build of the side, that's the broken one, but the build of the side, or the bad one, the build of the side of this, I can't tell if you can see that. I'll have to get a picture. I can get a better picture. Let's see if I can do it to focus in better. Probably not. The side of this is very smooth. I'm doing 0.2 on the layer height, so it's giving me a pretty good lay of everything. But other than that, it's doing great now, and it's holding for 2+ hours, which I think this little guy was 1.5 hours, and this guy was, I want to say, almost 3 hours. I have messed with turning the speed up and down, trying to find the right speed, the best speed. This is running at 100% right now. I found that I can go as high as 125%, I think was what I went at, and I got it to 140, and it stopped laying down the plastic when I got to 140. So that could be my stepper motor here. I also get a lot of clicks out of this particular stepper motor. Just click, 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 click. I don't know if it's the motor clicking or the hob gear clicking as it turns. I loosened these two springs up a little bit, and there was less clicking, but that just may mean that it's not grabbing the plastic and pulling it through. I think that's everything for right now. I'd like to go through and do a build video and talk about the money that I spent on this. I don't know if you noticed in my last video I posted, instead of $200, I posted it was $240 now in spent money. That is because I've dumped more money into it trying to replace parts, such as that external MOSFET. I had to buy another motor, which was $15. I went to Micro Center instead of online, so that may be why it was a little more expensive. What else have I done? A few other little things here and there. I went out and had to buy more of the idler bearings because they sent me the wrong ones. I've replaced this one. I have not replaced that one. That one was actually pretty good, even though I made it. A few other little things that I did on my own that costed a little bit of money, so I wanted to bump that price up to reflect what I actually spent. If you were going to do this, it would probably be more, because I have now 2 power supplies running, and those were both free for me. I still have 3 of my original, 4 of my original motors that I did not pay for. I will be replacing this one, though, because there is an issue, though. I'm not sure what it is, but there is an issue there. And I may want to move up to a different driver, like the Trinamics or something like that. So we'll see how that goes. The 3-inch aluminum plate, I also added that heat piece below it, that heat transfer sheet below that, between that and my actual aluminum bed heater, and that let the heat transfer through a lot better. I can barely touch this now at 60 degrees Celsius. It's pretty doggone hot. I haven't tried to put a temperature probe on here and see what it actually is yet. I think that's all for right now. I'm going to go ahead and print a bunch to get a good feel for it before I put out any more reviews stating that it works or doesn't work. I just wanted to let everybody know where I was. And I'll post this, and we'll get back with you guys soon. Any comments? Any feedback on how your build's going? I'd appreciate it. Awesome.